happy 2019. Today I wanted to share the first part of my 2018 December Daily album flip through. I'm going to do it in two parts and probably go up to day 12 and then resume for the second part of the video, day 13. I just figured it'd be easier to split it into two videos because I don't want it to go too long for you. So let's start. The first thing I did for 2018 was create a simple cover page. This is using some old wood grain paper that I've had in my stash forever. The gold puffy elements came from the Crepe Paper Merry Days puffy stickers this year. The 25 chipboard came from Allie Edwards. I think it was last year that she sold these, and I bought a couple of sets of them when she put them on clearance at the end of last year, and I really like having the black numbers. This chipboard piece came in the Paisley Press mini kit from 2018, and this rubber star, I believe, was Felicity Jane from last year or the year before, I can't remember. So I just kept it super simple. I like to have a little clean beginning. I don't usually jump right in with photos. I like to have a front cover that will cover everything behind it. So that's what I use this year. For the first entry, I usually do something about the advent calendar that my daughter gets for the year. And this year's advent calendar was a Harry Potter Funko Pop advent calendar. I had seen it online probably in like October and had to hunt it down for her, but I really liked it and she really enjoyed it. So I took this cute picture of her on the first day. The first figure was this cute little Harry Potter. I used some Kelly Perky stamps on some vellum just to make the stamp a little bit more visible. If I had stamped directly onto her outfit here, it wouldn't have shown very well. So the vellum just allows that to show a little bit better. On the right side, I used a backing paper. I believe this was old from a Paisley Press kit, probably last year. This chipboard is from this year, and I believe this rubber piece was from this year as well. I always start with some sort of a little note. It's usually nothing major. It's just something simple about looking forward to the holiday. And then a cute picture of her with her advent, and then our Twinkle the Elf comes on the 1st of December, so a little picture of her with them. So super simple. For day 2, this was a story about our Christmas tree, which we actually got around Thanksgiving, but it's okay. It goes in when it goes in. So a simple photo. Kelly Perky did these stamps this year, this label set of stamps, which I really liked. This is also hers. And then this was one of the papers from her specialty paper pack this year. It's a Riso print, and it looks like you print it on like a laser printer or some sort of old copy printer. I'm not exactly sure, but I know she shared some images when she was making these that I thought it was really cool. And I didn't want to cover the tree with the photos. So what I did is, let me pull these out. I just cut, it's kind of hard to tell because it's, there we go. So I just cut with an X-Acto knife around this portion of the tree. I think you can see that there. And then I did it on both sides and I stopped right here. I didn't cut this portion of the tree out so that I could slip the photos in. And then I just laid the specialty paper on top of another piece of cardstock and then just adhered from around the edge so this was open. And then I printed a photo of my daughter, and then on the back was a journaling card from one of Kelly's kits, and I just elongated it since this photo was kind of long. It's a lot longer than 4 inches. So I just digitally elongated the card and made it fit what I needed to make it, and then double back. So it's two-sided. The journaling card and the photo are glued together. And then that just kind of slips in behind the tree. And then this is the tag that was hanging on the tree, and I thought it was really cool. And then I used some of Kelly's stamps to just stamp in how tall it was and how much we paid for it. And then slip that in as well. I like having little pieces like that in my album, especially showing the price of what we paid for our tree. And obviously we got a live tree, and you know, yeah, they're expensive, but it's worth it and it smells great. So I kind of loved that. Day 3 is another day that happened in November. We always put our outdoor tree lights up around Thanksgiving. So this is a cute little photo I took of my daughter out front. We always do something silly around on this day just because it sometimes ends up being our Christmas card, and a different version of this photo ended up being our Christmas card this year. I got these gloves from Forever 21. And because she likes to flash the peace sign when she takes pictures, so I'm like, oh my God, those would be so cute. She just reversed them on her hand so that the snowman and the Santa would show, and I thought it was really cute. This digital is from Life Love Papers mini kit that she did for Kelly Perky this year, and it was on a traveler's notebook size paper. and I just extracted the words and kind of created my own element. You'll see it repeated again in the back, but I wanted just the peace, love, and Mary sentiment on there, so I just kind of played with that a little bit digitally. On the right-hand side, I did a little photo collage. This is this year's picture of my daughter and my husband hanging up the lights, and this is something they've been doing since 2009. And I was thinking about it this year, and I'm like, well, you know, it's been a long time, so let's show some of the other photos in the album. So I kept the previous years. This is obviously not every year. I just put 5. And I dated them and turned them black and white so that they would not compete with this year's photo. And I kind of like how this looks. Some of these photos kill me. I mean, this is just too cute, her standing there. So it was fun, little addition to this year's album. This chipboard piece is from this year's Paisley press kit. Day 4, we went to a lot of movies this month, and not all of them are Christmas related, but it was what we did this month, and there were so many fun movies to see. So there's 3 movie days in my album this year, and I kind of love it. So my mom was here visiting, and we went and saw The Grinch with my mom and my daughter. So this is just a simple page. I found this Grinch image online, and I liked how it was kind of peeking out. So I played that up on the page and kept the rest of it all white. And then I just clipped the tickets and then a photo I took of us 3 with the tickets to the edge of the page. And when I do things like this, usually what I'll do is I'll attach the clip. You'll see it's in between here. It's in between the 2 pages, so it keeps the clip from falling out, which is nice. A little red heart because, you know, the Grinch, his heart grows. So I thought that was cute. On this side, I kept it simple. It's just a photo and a story about this giant poinsettia that I got at Costco this year. It was huge and I absolutely loved it. So it's a really simple page. This is a Paisley press paper. Typed up the story chipboard. I like how these 2 kind of oppositely play up on each other, and just simple entries, which I love. Day 6, I had to do something on the back of this Traveler's Notebook size page, so I decided to tell a story about this ornament I got at Target this year. It reminded me of ones that my mom used to make in the 70s when she was doing pottery. I'm sure a lot of you can relate. When I posted this photo to Instagram, a lot of people commented, oh my God, I remember those. So it's fun. I love having this, and it'll be a cherished ornament on my tree from now on. These are old chipboard stars from Studio Calico. This Favorite Things, I don't remember. It's a word strip from somewhere. I don't know where it came from. I do a lot of transparency. Sorry about the glare there too. I do a lot of transparency pages when I have 2 stories that I want to divide, especially if the story is a single side. Not every story needs to be 2 pages as far as I'm concerned. So some are simple, like this one. I mean, that's pretty small. So, but I don't necessarily want 2 competing stories laying next to each other that don't relate or make sense. So my go-to is to add some sort of transitional piece in between, and that is with transparencies. So in this one is, I believe it's an Allie Edwards. It's white stars. I hope you can see it. There, you can see it a little better. This is an old In a Creative Bubble journaling card that I just typed up my story, added a little word strip and the date. So again, very simple, but this is directly from, the text on this entry is directly from what I wrote on Instagram and what I also put on Facebook. So I like it when journaling is already done for you and you don't have to come up with the whole story. So it's nice to just copy and paste from somewhere you've already posted. And then on the back is a story of our holiday mantle this year. I changed it up a little bit. I got this new banner. I loved this little Santa that I got from Home Goods. He's from Norway, and I just think he's hilarious with his long beard and his nose sticking out. So I wanted to tell a story about that. So again, this is a journaling card from Paisley Press. It's not part of the Allie Edwards mini kit. It's Paisley Press's digital shop. So I liked it because you could check off decorations here. So I just aligned the text over here. The journaling card originally came with thicker lines and my story was longer to fit on the line. So I just deleted the lines from the journaling card and typed in my own story. Oh, one thing, I get asked a lot what font this is. And this year I predominantly used this font in all of my journaling. and it's a font called Marista, and that's Marista. And I'll link it below in the notes so you can find it. There's a paid version out there, and there's also a free version, and it just reminds me of an old cursive typewriter. And since I don't own a cursive typewriter, I like the look of it. So it's been kind of my go-to font for all of the journaling that I type for any project, probably within the last year. It's the one I use the most, and I like it. Day 8 was a story about the afternoon that my daughter and I spent together. We went to a local craft fair, and then we went to a dessert diner and had some lunch, and we did shopping and, you know, stuff like that. So it was a bunch of different events happen on one day. So I didn't want to include photos from everything. I just picked the ones that I liked the most, and the pictures I liked the most were of us at the dessert diner. There's a dessert diner in Sacramento. It's called Rick's Dessert Diner. They don't serve food. It's just dessert, and it's a place my daughter loves to go to, so she asked to go, so we went. So the page was created using digital elements from the Paisley Press digital shop. These aren't part of the mini kit. This is from their actual digital shop. And I laid this page out in advance just to maximize the amount of space that I was going to get on one 6x8. So I created basically a layout inside Photoshop Elements to map it all out in advance, and it ended up working great. And when I do that, it also allows me to shrink things down. So I knew a 3x4 journaling card wasn't going to fit on just a 6x8. It would cover too much of the photo. There wouldn't be enough room. So that's why this looks a little bit smaller than 3x4, because it is definitely a lot smaller than 3x4. So I used this list card to type out basically the list of all of the things that we did that day. And then I did a print and cut of this digital element, and then ended up, I think you can see it here, ended up raising it with foam tape so it would be elevated off of the page. And then it would also fit on top of the photo, which I also elevated everything on this page with foam tape, just because sometimes I like it to not look so flat. So using the foam tape just helps lift it up just a little bit to give it some interest. And I really like how this page came out. I know this is supposed to mimic gold, but I kind of like how it played off the yellow of the sweater I was wearing that day. And this was one of my favorite pages from the album so far. Another transparency. Hopefully the glare is not too bad on this one. I used these Joy chipboard letters that came from the Crepe Paper Mary Days, the big chipboard sheet. It was like a 12x12 sheet of chipboard. So that's where that came from. And then this bough of the Christmas tree came from the die cut set from Crepe Paper Mary Days. And I just attached it and layered them on top. This transparency is cut smaller than 6x8 because I believe this, well, maybe it is 6x8. No, it's not, because it looks. So it's probably like 5.5 by 6 or something. So I made this page a little bit smaller just to kind of keep things interesting and not have everything be 6x8. So that's why that's a little bit small. And then for this entry, this is our second movie that we went to. My daughter and I went and saw the new Fantastic Beasts movie. She's a huge Harry Potter fan, as am I. So we were really looking forward to seeing this movie. So I didn't have another photo to include, so I wanted to save our tickets, and then I just found this image online and created my own tag. It's just printed on photo paper. So basically this is 3 tags layered on top of each other. And I originally had used like a black shipping tag. This tag is from an old Studio Calico kit. It's just cream with like black stars. And then again, this one I created using the photo. So when I laid it all out, I'm like, okay, now, well, how am I going to tell the story of the day? Where am I going to put it? I'm like, oh, it'd be great if I could put it on the tag. Well, you can't print on white on anything dark. So I don't have a typewriter that's going to, do any sort of white. And I didn't want to sit there and try to handwrite it because that, I couldn't have written all of this in that tiny space. So what I ended up doing is creating a black faux tag in Photoshop. It's just basically a black rectangle that I cut into a tag shape. And then when you print from Photoshop on something dark, you can print in white because basically it's leaving a negative space where the white is on the dark background. So I typed up my journaling and printed that out on photo paper and cut it to the shape of a tag, and then just layered it and added this little twine just to kind of dress it up, and the big gold number. This is a piece of paper. I can't remember if it was Allie's kit last year or the Paisley Press mini kit last year or Felicity Jane. So I'm sorry. It's just a really cool black tree, and it kind of played up with the black and made it a little bit festive, even though It had nothing to do with Christmas, but it was a fun outing. So we loved it. Day 10, my daughter's birthday is on the 10th. So every year on the 10th, you know, if you've watched my other video, guess what? On the 10th, it's her birthday. So we always get fun balloons for her. And this year, our local party store had these rainbow tie-dye, which is so her. So I got her the number 11 because she turned 11. So we always leave those out. She wakes up in the morning and they're there. So this was just a super simple entry because her birthday was on, I think it was a Monday, and she had school that day and she also had soccer practice that night. So it wasn't too exciting. There was no family party. There wasn't anything really going on. So I just wanted to kind of document the day. So I typed up, obviously, the journaling about the day, the 10. These holographic acrylic stars were from Color Cast Designs. They were in my stash. They're beautiful. And it kind of played up with the shine of the balloons. And then when I was trying to find like a thicker set that I could use that would play good with the balloons, and I didn't really have anything. So I thought about it. I'm like, well, what can I do? What can I do? So basically what I did is I typed out Happy Birthday Simone in a regular old font. I think it's like Beavis or something generic. And what I did is I clipped out this whole area of the number 1. And then on my document in Photoshop, I just laid them next to each other and kind of merged them together and smoothed everything out. So I had like a large section of this balloon. And then I clipped it to the text. So it worked. I mean, I think it looks cool. It mimics this, you know, the balloons, and it's festive and fun. Not at all Christmassy, but it's her birthday. It's not supposed to be Christmassy. So I kind of liked how that turned out too. It was just a fun, simple little entry. Day 11 is about our Christmas cards. Again, here's that, remember I told you in the front, there's a similar photo. This one's just a little bit more straight on of her that I took out front. And this was a phone photo, by the way. I have a iPhone XS, and that's how I took this photo. I didn't use my big camera at all this Christmas. Everything, all the photos I took are from my phone. So it came out really good. And then I snapped this picture. I specifically went to the post office in town that has a drive-through so I could snap a picture of her putting the cards in the mail. So this was the day that we stuffed all the cards. My husband and my daughter always helps, and it's nice to have their help, and they like doing it. So it was easy. And then on the back, I did a collage. We had gone to Hawaii in November. So I put a collage of photos on the back just so we could be in the card too. So it was fun. And then on the 12th, this had happened earlier in the month, but I didn't really have a story for the day. So I've said this before in multiple posts and on videos. My daughter always picks a special wrapping paper every year. It started when she was small because I didn't want to have to tag all of her gifts when she was really small, like 2-3 years old. So I just put her gifts in the same paper, and so she knew that everything that looked like that was hers and she could open it. So it kind of stuck. And then the older Simone got, she wanted to participate and she wanted to pick out her special paper. So every year at the beginning of December, we go usually to Target and look at their wrapping paper selection, and she picks out one that she wanted. And this year she picked 2. So here's a picture I snapped of her selecting the paper. And then I just kind of made it to mimic a Polaroid. And again, this gold star. This gold star transparency is from the American Crafts DIY shop line, and you can still get it. It's one I used a lot, and I really like it because I like the gold. And then on the back, I did another photo of her looking at the camera that's sized, so it's exactly the same size as the one on the front. And then here's the paper that she picked. She picked this gold, or this silver glitter star paper, and then this rose gold Christmas tree paper. So totally her. Everything is rose gold these days, so I kind of love that she picked it. This wrapping paper, however, was kind of a nightmare to wrap because the tape wouldn't stick to it. So anyway, no big deal, but she loved it, and her presents looked really pretty all stacked up together. And anyway, so that's where I'm going to leave off. That was day 12. So I'll film another video. There'll be a part 2 that is the rest of the album. So stay tuned for that. It should come right after this one. And thanks for being here. And if you have any questions about this, anything I showed in this first 12 days, please leave it down below and I'll answer And that's it, I think. All right. Thanks.